Welcome to Find the Humor with your hosts, Matt Miner and Connor O'Leary.
Hi, everybody. My name's Connor O'Leary.
I'm Matt Miner.
And we are your hosts.
We're your hosts here on the Unnamed Podcast so far.
So every week we're going to be doing, we're going to be having a different guest on, and we're just going to be talking about comedy and different jokes that we've thought of through the week that we want to workshop with each other, or that
just
we want to...
life in general.
Yeah, so with us today we have Duncan Moran all the way from Chicago, Illinois.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So, Duncan, give us a little bit of background about your comedy world lens.
My comedy world lens is I did improv for 9 years. 9 years. I went through high school and then I did at college here at Purdue. And I am about to start up again. I do a little bit of stand-up. I watch stand-up. I like Jim Gaffigan, probably my top boy.
Is your hero?
Yeah.
He also went
You've
to
seen
Purdue.
Yeah, for a little bit.
You seen his bit on Hot Pockets?
Of course I've seen Hot Pockets. I saw him live,
Well, not
and
a
that's
lot
the
of
thing.
people.
He does his outro.
I'm like 80% sure that Jim Gaffigan's Hot Pockets is like the gateway drug of stand-up for like 80% of like kids.
He sold his soul to the devil for to get popular, but his curse is that he has to do the Hot Pockets.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
for
I
sure.
saw him live, and I saw him get heckled by somebody drunk in the front row who every 10 minutes would be like, do Hot Pockets! Do the Hot Pockets! And he was literally like, if you want to see me do content that you've heard thousands of times, why did you pay money to see the show where I'm literally doing brand new content?
Yeah, I don't get it, because it's not like it's a band. It's like, oh man, I love the Foo Fighters, and I want to see them do Pretenders live because it's the environment, super cool. And it's like, it's the same joke. It's not like it's gonna be new.
It's honestly, it's so rehearsed, and it's the exact same cadence every single
Go see
time.
a play.
No, that's the thing.
Exactly.
When I was watching him, he had a different cadence on some of his jokes, and I was like, he told it wrong, but it's his joke. Well, awesome. So you know about comedy, it sounds like, as much as a young aspiring professional can.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I've laughed once or twice, which makes me an expert.
That's pretty good. I was just talking to somebody today about I was like, yeah, I do improv and sketch comedy, and I'm just starting to write more. And they were like, oh, so you must laugh a lot. And I was like, not as much as you think.
Yeah,
I hate. I don't like watching stand-up comedians alone, because then I get super critical of if I'm not laughing, it's not good. There's a finite amount of shows that get me, that can actually make me laugh out loud alone.
Oh, for sure. Very, very few. And some people, because I love comedy and stuff like that, because I love comedy so much and people know that, people always want to show me comedians or stuff that they have. But for me, when I watch stand-up, I don't really laugh out loud that much.
Yeah.
And so people will literally be like, did you even think that was funny? I was like, yeah, that was hilarious. They were like, you didn't laugh once.
No,
I'm like, I thought it was great. But
It's I treat it like homework. When I watch SNL, I'm like, okay, I'm identifying okay, they used that trope that I know, and
I don't go
don't
that far.
laugh.
I just don't laugh.
No, yeah, I mean it's subconscious, but I'm analyzing it all the time, and I'm trying to improve my own knowledge of comedy.
I do think that when I watch things like stand-up, I am trying to figure out how I would have said it.
Yeah.
Not how can I steal the joke, but if I were presenting it, how would I present that sort of content in a way that my personality or my presence can package it?
And that's something that's important, because your voice is so important to comedy, because you might have funny ideas and funny things to say, but the way you say it is what distinguishes you from other comedians who are just as funny.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, the whole Seinfeld relatable comedy isn't that
funny.
Yeah.
It's whatever. You can go to any comedian in the past couple of years. Besides, who's that dude who just tells one-line jokes?
Mitch Hedberg?
No, it's
Dimitri Martin.
Thank you, Dimitri Martin.
Yep.
Unless you're Dimitri Martin, everybody else is still telling the same it's a marriage story. It's a story about
My
travel,
wife.
and it's like
You
they're
wouldn't believe this,
Like it's
broad.
whatever. If you were sitting at a bar and the guy next to you was saying it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that they're presenting it in a way that is like zany is why that is something entertaining rather than like a movie that has a plot. You know?
Yeah.
So you got to figure out a way to say it, especially because like we are young and we're all just kind of, if we go to a bar and try to start telling stories about girlfriends, people will look at it like, yeah, you're young. Like what kind of
and
what
it's
kind of presence do you
definitely
have?
it's definitely like you have to be a lot more niche nowadays. There's not like one brand of comedy that satisfies everybody, and you especially see that with like memes. Like, so back to like the idea of like I don't really laugh as much anymore because like I'm always critiquing, I guess, comedy. Something that the only thing that like really makes me laugh is like off the wall batshit animations, like shit that you make. Like that is the only stuff that can make me like really fucking laugh. And it's weird because like the have you seen the cockroach we just saw in Parks the other
With
day?
yeah.
The funniest thing to me.
I love all edits. Can we agree bass boosting is funny, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
for sure.
every
Okay,
time.
good, because people are like, yeah, bass boosting is funny.
Oh, that's totally cheap, but it's funny.
It's great.
Hilarious.
Any bass boost, there's just one that I like. Things that are expected, I'm like, it's fine. But yeah, when it is the unexpected, I literally just watched an edit yesterday that made me laugh at work out loud because it was just a guy's face, and like it was whatever that fanfare, whatever, bum 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 bum. You know what I'm talking about? It's like it's
and
a
the
famous.
hum
No.
of the brave.
No, it's like the big
that's
one.
it.
Yeah.
The bass boost. National anthem.
But like
Star
it, I don't know.
Spangled
It's the big horns, and they're ending up. It's a pretty famous. So I
Yeah.
can't think of what it is. But every time that it hit another hit, they were getting closer and closer on his face, and you think you knew where it was going, but at the end, he just pulls out a gun, just pointing at the screen, and I fucking cried. It's not that funny, but it was just the unexpected.
Sounds like a had to be there type.
yeah. Fuck you. I'll send it to you.
Okay, yeah, I'll watch it. So let's go ahead and get into some jokes. Why not?
Yeah.
Anything else you
Fine
guys
with
wanna talk
me.
about? Cool.
Although we did reference Duncan, you do animation, you do little
yes.
things like that. If you want to do give the listeners a little bit of context about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now that I've graduated school and I work in the corporate America, I got to find ways to be creative. And when you live alone, you got to be real creative. So I have a green screen, and I put on a little production company of my own. You can follow me on Instagram, Godort Video Productions, Godort G0D0RT, or he'll come up on YouTube as just Godort. And I make animations, I make songs, I do like one-take songs, and I put together little sad boy things. And just so I like doing like 2D and 3D animations with that.
I've been to Duncan's place, and he's got masks everywhere. They're fucking terrifying.
Okay.
They're so scary.
I'll make the
they're
mask
so cool,
also.
though. Yeah, he designs them.
I've got like a kabuki mask. I've got this like dragon one that's just teeth on the bottom, and then I've got my trick one is that it's a half of a skull, and then it's got these ones. Two of them have big devil horns, and then one of them has a big crown.
My
and I paint 'em
favorite
all up.
is the one with like gears on it, or the gray. It's all silver. It's by your TV.
Oh, that's a skull too. Yep,
Yeah.
It's got like a fractal thing on
Yeah.
its side. I
love
like that one too.
Super cool.
I also have a Cthulhu mask too. It's just smaller.
Yeah. So if Duncan weren't so sociable, I would think majority of people would consider him crazy. Just somebody who lives alone and is quote unquote creative.
Well, yeah, because if I can't bring any girls over because they walk in and like, there's film lights and a
never
camera.
know.
You guys shooting a porn? Like,
That's fair.
And a green screen.
Yeah, the green
what
screen is
are you
the
doing?
tipping
What are you
point.
doing? Space porn? Come on.
Well, anyway, what kind of jokes we want to start with? Kick it off.
I say that I would say 90% of what I write down in my little like jokes folder app is just like weird shit that I observe. And then
Right.
I'm like, that would make a good joke, but I have like nowhere to go with
Exactly.
it. You know what
and
I mean?
that's the same thing for me. I'll write down one word thing sometimes. One time, I don't know where it is in my phone, but I just wrote down 2 words, tree people. And I was, whatever moment I was in, I was like, that's hilarious. I'm writing it down. I don't know where the fuck that idea is supposed to take me. But that's something that maybe I'd like to explore on this podcast or or just, put it to bed and never visit it again.
No, I have something almost the exact same. I wrote Jesus equals Golden Corral.
See, but
And
I understand that.
What are you, a Satanist?
No, I get that.
But no, it's one of those things that in the moment I was like, I'm brilliant. Someone else has never thought of this before, and looking back on it, I have zero idea what I was even referencing or what like the funny like.
I think we should start there. Let's just brainstorm maybe some ideas. What you think that might mean? In what ways is Jesus equal to Golden Corral?
So it attracts
Old white people.
Yeah,
Old
well, I was
white
gonna
people,
say
yeah.
it attracts an interesting and desperate group.
Right.
If you look at the people that might go to like a sweaty Sunday service, like in an unair conditioned church, probably look the same as the people who are in.
Would they just hold church at Golden Corral?
I would.
Matt, if either of us says something that sparks the idea in your head and you remember all of a sudden what it was, whoever does that for you wins this competition.
You got to yell brain blast though.
Brain blast.
My idea is that Jesus is like Golden Corral in that like eternal life. No, sorry, that's not what I meant. You know that one story where Jesus takes 2 fish and a basket of bread or something, and he feeds 40 people with it. Is that? I think that's
That
right.
is. It's
Okay.
200 people. isn't it?
200.
Yeah.
Way more impressive.
No, it's literally 5,000.
Is it really? It's 5,000?
Yeah, it's
No,
literally-
it's 10 million.
No,
Nah.
it's legitimately called
5,000?
Jesus feeds the 5,000.
I thought it was.
Ah.
Well,
Anyway, that's kind of like Golden Corral.
King James.
in
King James.
that-
What are you gonna do?
In that endless food, maybe.
Yeah, but the deal is those 5,000 people didn't get dysentery an hour later. So
Yeah, it was a good experience for them. That's the one issue.
Okay.
Yeah, no, they walked
Hey,
away
I've
being
had a
like,
good
"Oh,
time at Golden Corral." I went to
Ha-
Golden Corral.
have
once.
you?
Yeah,
I've only gone
okay,
once.
before so
before
the
I went in
dining
the
courts
cave.
at Purdue are very dining, or they're what's the word?
fuck you about to say?
What's the
we are
what
top 10 in the nation.
What's the
Buffet?
word? Buffet style. I don't know what's wrong with me. They're buffet style, and so before I'd ever been to something like that, I went to Golden Corral in high school, and I didn't know what a buffet was.
You never been to a continental breakfast?
Okay, well, yeah, but like
You
I
never went
didn't.
to like a Chinese buffet?
Never.
Nah,
I had
yeah.
never been to like any type of.
They're a scam, so except for continental breakfasts.
Right.
So
I'd been to MCL.
because what are you 90?
Well, I went with my grandma who died a month later, and it was my last cherishing memory of her. So thanks a lot.
Well,
anyway,
you brought it up.
but no, I went to Golden Corral when I was in high school, and I was like, "This is fucking awesome." The thing that sold me was the soft serve. You just go
That's
and get
how they
soft serve.
get every kid.
Oh my
but
God.
you can't get nutrients off of that. You're paying
Whatever.
$8. You're paying $9.
I would have paid $9 just for the soft serve.
Only way you get your money's worth at a buffet is if you bring a to-go bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you done that?
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever stolen anything from a buffet or a
No,
dining
because I
court?
paid $8 for it.
Okay, that's fair.
Is you count as stealing if you take it with you, like the food?
It also
Well,
says all I
it's
can
the
eat,
food. I
and I
know.
can eat it still.
I know that like some people will steal like waffle irons.
That's fucked up. You could,
Kinda funny, though.
you could steal that from anywhere.
No,
Why
no,
would you
like
steal it
the
from
Purdue waffle
That's
Yeah.
different because there's a train on it.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
has value. But I'm like, why would you go to the Golden Corral and be
opposed
like,
to-
why would you go to the Golden Corral and be like, I'm going to steal the hot plugged-in deep fryer? Why'd you do that when you could just go to like Target and try to steal a new one that's not hot and plugged in?
Security.
Yeah.
Security at Golden Corral too. If I see you, if I see you pouring grease all over yourself, fumbling, trying to put it under your shirt pocket.
No, but I'm arguing there's not security at a dining court, but there would be at.
Oh, at a dining court's different. That's at Purdue.
Yeah.
Like, because you already technically. Yeah.
Anyway, Jesus is watching at Golden Corral. That's the reason we don't do it at Golden Corral.
Jesus is watching.
Jesus
Jesus was
equals
everywhere.
Golden Corral.
Is okay. I see.
I was going with Jesus would be my real thing is that I think it would be something along the lines of like it was going to be something about like communion. Like if you pay like a little bit of your salary, you get into this environment.
offering.
like indulgences.
What did I just say? Communion.
Communion. That's the stuff with the crackers
thing.
and
What's the Catholic one?
Indulgences. Oh, you
No,
mean
that's
are you talking about
old-timey.
communion?
No, not communion though, but it is offering in a Protestant sense. But
Yeah.
there's a word for
like
it.
when
Like
you
giving.
pass- we
it's
pass
not-
the bag
no,
around.
but like giving. There's like a you on your tax
Tithe,
forms.
tithing?
Tithing.
Yeah.
So like it's that. So if you pay a
Tidings
little
of
bit of your
comfort and joy.
income, you are then brought into this community that is like going to feed you and you get action for it. I'm gonna say that's where I would have put it.
Interesting.
But either way, that's fucking heathenism because Golden Corral is garbo.
Gonna be honest. I don't really remember the details of the experience. I just remember leaving happy.
Yeah. So
From MCL or Golden Corral?
Golden Corral.
Oh, okay.
MCL isn't a buffet. MCL is
Is it
cafeteria
not?
style. You pay for things and put it on a tray and then you check out.
Oh yeah, old people.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember
Which
that.
is worse than a buffet. It's more of a scam than a buffet.
I was too busy cherishing my last moments with my dying grandma.
All right, fine.
Was she dying at the MCL?
you want to make a joke out of your dying grandma? Is that what you want to do?
You were laying her on the minefield right now. And I'm
No,
ready
no, I
up to
had a
throw
lot-
some
I had
mines.
a lot of experiences food-wise with my grandma, like in her last months. She was on her deathbed, and my mom was like, "What do you want?" And I'm like,
I want mashed potatoes and fried chicken.
"No, my
I want a DQ blizzard.
my grandma
Flip it
lied-
upside down one more time for
My
me.
grandma lied there in the,
Flip me
in the
upside
bed
down.
that she would soon die in, and said, "I want 6 I want 6 White Castle sliders
Good.
with pickle."
No, she didn't.
Nah, I don't like the
fucking
pickle.
said
Yeah,
that.
because she just wanted to die sooner.
Yeah, whatever.
Maybe.
She's trying to dehydrate.
So we got them, and that's the first time
you
I
can't
had a,
you can't
a
shit
White
the bed when you're
Castle.
dead if you already shit the bed when you're alive.
So that's the first time I had a White Castle slider, and wasn't too much of a fan.
No, I love the frozen White Castle sliders, and then
Well,
the
'cause
live
the
ones.
real
I don't
ones
like the pickles.
taste
I don't like
like-
the pickles.
What?
They make them soggy.
What? Pickles are inherently soggy.
I know, but I don't want it on my fucking bread.
Oh, they make the
They
burger
break the
soggy.
bread
Oh,
like
okay.
sour and soggy.
Yeah, and then the bread like soaks up the
I don't like
flavor,
it.
and there's no coming back from that. You can scrape
But
off
for
most
$16,
toppings.
it was insane. I went to White Castle. It was the only thing open, and me and my buddies at like 2:00 in the morning, and I was like, I haven't paid for White Castle. Like, what's the price thing? $16 value meal.
Oh, yeah.
Where you got 24 sliders.
Yeah, no, it's like the people.
No, 24 sliders, 2 medium fries, 12 chicken rings. Chickens should not be in ring form, and then onion rings too for $16.
Well, it's because in my mind, it's like they're selling them because if they don't, they have to eat it, and they're like, "Dear God, please buy our shit. We don't want to consume this." What do you think they have to do? I mean, I know the real answer, but what are fake answers only about how they make chicken rings? Maybe they just cut the throat and then hollow it out.
No. You know that you know that movie No Country for Old Men?
Yeah.
Or the book too, where the guy walks around with the piston gun. Or you guys, okay, so for those listening, whatever, a cattle gun is like a big tube, a pneumatic pump, and it shoots a bolt like 6 inches in and then retracts it.
Okay.
So you didn't know this?
No.
So that's how they kill cows, because there's not a bullet in your meat. They put it right against the brain. And
I just assumed they used a really powerful bullet.
I just
that
assumed
went
that they
through.
just killed it nicely.
no, it's
Wait, so
instantaneous.
how do they do it? It
Okay,
just
so
goes in and out?
it's a tube. So like if this is a pneumatic
Oh my
tube,
God.
there's like a bolt right here, like the size of a bullet, and they put it up against the cow, and then they just shoot it, and it's so instantaneous that it just goes all the way through and severs the spine.
Damn.
Insane. Okay, so in the movie, so to make this weirder, in the No Country for Old Men book and movie, he uses one of those, and that's the cops are like, this is a 44 Magnum size entry wound, but there's no exit wound and there's no.
Oh, so it's like a riddle.
So they're freaking out.
The bullet was
He's-
made of
he's
ice.
running around and he's like pumping out like the door handles and he's like doing all this stuff
Yeah.
with this pneumatic
Oh,
tube.
and it's like infinite ammo.
Is it just like a reusable gun?
It's a pump. So it's if you went and like like a cap gun.
Yeah.
So that's a bad
Oh
example.
yeah, like pop and then retract. I know
But
what you're talking about.
all it is it fires and then you just pull the bolt back in because
Yeah.
it's too big to fit all the way through.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Gotcha.
Think of it that way.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay, so what was I going with this? Cow.
Chicken
I got
ring.
it. I got a chicken ring. So what they do is they take the pneumatic pump, they put it to the side of the chicken, and they pneumatic pump through, and it makes
It
a
just
ring.
leaves
The
a hole.
chicken's still alive. Okay?
Okay.
The chicken lives for another 3 weeks, and it slowly starts to fold in the skin.
No,
the,
see, I'm gonna one up you there. I think they do that, but they put the chicken against just a long tube, a hollow tube,
just line 'em on.
and then it just shoves the chicken in while also making a hole, and then they dip that into a fryer, and then that's the chicken.
yeah, but that'd be too fast because they still gotta let the chicken live a while, and then when they kill the chicken, they do that thing with like taffy or the Play-Doh where you kind of like
Yeah,
work it, and it gets
yeah.
into a bigger, thinner ring.
I'm just
Yeah.
picturing a chicken on a taffy puller, just like the ones at the fair that you see that just like stretch it and then they intertwine and then just do it. It's a full ass chicken.
Yeah, they pluck the feathers after. It's easier.
My other idea for how they make chicken rings is by making chicken wings and then just labeling it with a typo, and then boom.
No.
Yeah.
They're circles.
It's just with a list.
Have you ever seen a chicken ring?
wings.
Chicken wings.
Do you want some chicken wings?
Chicken wings.
A chicken ring is like literally. Have you seen a chicken ring?
Yeah, I've eaten one.
Yeah, they
Seen
ain't no
chicken
typo.
fries?
It's 100%. Well, that's just chicken fingers. No, but chicken ring is literally like somebody fucked up the onion rings.
Yeah, it's like somebody was like, I'm gonna make some onion rings, and then they put chicken.
They put
in
the
it
wrong
instead.
filling.
Yeah, that's definitely
They took their
like somebody
tube
who was
filling
really
and stuck
high
it
was
in.
like, I got a great idea.
Yeah.
Chicken.
but make it a circle.
Chicken but circle, and then you can put them on your fingers like how you do with bugles. But
I thought you were gonna say wedding rings.
Yeah,
But-
I thought you were gonna say
I
something
was gonna say
logical.
rings, and then I was like, no, because that's what
That's
they're
what
called.
a ring is.
That's fair. So in conclusion, Jesus does equal Golden Corral.
He does.
Bravo.
He does.
All right. What else? What else we got?
What about you, Connor? Throw something out.
Let's see. I'll just. Here's another one that doesn't really have a lot of context with it. I just wrote "Sounds of the Catholic Church." Sounds kind of like an album that you could fall asleep to. Like
Yeah, it
sounds
sounds
of
like-
the ocean, sounds of the rainforest, sounds of the cat. No, but I remember writing that. I wrote that in on.
Yeah. See, I was gonna go there, but
in
then I
May
didn't
of
want
2017. So I was a senior in high school at the time.
rebellious phase.
Yeah, so I had just graduated or was about to graduate, and this is when I was like kind of, starting to be like, why do I go to church? So I was probably just trying to crack jokes. So I don't know exactly what happened, but the sounds of the Catholic Church are babies crying and
Duncan and I are pretty
Yeah,
much
we
already
just did
covered
it.
all of them.
Just fucking
Yeah.
rewind this podcast, and it was all right there.
Well, yeah, I was just kind of verbalizing what it was that you did. You guys were just making
Hold
noises.
on.
I was like,
Yeah,
that's a wallaby.
I had to.
That's a
What
snake.
are you audience members? 2-year-olds? Come
I'm
on.
like the safari guide of you guys making sounds of the Catholic Church.
What you're doing is you're like audibly like, oh, for our blind audience, I'll describe what's being seen, except it's audio. It's
You're
like
the visual
Yeah,
description. You're the
For a
you know,
concert.
Have you ever watched a movie that has visual description? Well, it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Like I watched Frozen with visual description, and it's like a tall ice tower comes out of the distance between two mountains, and then like Let It Go starts, and you're just like, I could have.
But yeah,
figure
but
that
like,
out.
what's a safari guide for?
You're
To drive in the truck, and then they're
no.
like, if you look to your right, you'll see some elephants. Fucking yeah, I'm looking to my right, and I see some elephants.
So they drive the truck, and then they give you like fun facts about it.
Fun facts.
So they're saying like this elephant can weigh up to X amount of tons.
Well, maybe I was about to do that about the Catholic Church sounds.
weren't.
Did you
You
know?
weren't?
Did you know?
What?
Did you know that
What?
most babies that cry in Catholic Church are crying because they're actually Jewish,
Because St. Peter's.
and they're sad that they're in the Catholic Church.
You can't just be Jewish.
You can.
Yeah, you
That's
can
how.
be Jewish,
That's how
baby.
the fucking. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
That's how
That's
the ethnicity versus religion thing.
That's true.
But that's a whole thing.
That's a whole story. Duncan, what
I don't
about
know
you?
enough about that.
Take.
No. Give me a joke.
I thought I had a Jesus joke. I was looking through, and
that was the only
don't.
one I could find about.
I thought I had a
Jesus.
Jesus joke, and I don't. But I've got some stuff.
I grew up very conservative, so I've got some more
All
Jesus
Jesus
jokes.
jokes?
No, they're not all Jesus jokes, obviously.
You probably killed it at church camp.
Just type in the word
For sure.
Jesus, see if anything comes up.
Well, speaking of rings, nah, it's a dumb one.
I have one about Jesus where I'm talking about why so many birds look the same, and and he's talking about like Jesus going through like creating birds, and he just got bored of it, and so he just like made all the angels create for him, just like, all right, crow, black, raven, black, red-winged blackbird, black, both a little bit of red,
Do you think that?
penguin, black.
Do you think that angels' came first? Then besides birds, like which wing came first?
Like birds or angels?
Like bird wings or angel wings?
Oh, I think bird wings did.
So do you think angels didn't have wings?
No, I
Or do
think
you think
birds.
that they
I think
took-
birds just came first. Because if you follow like the chronology
Chronology.
Genesis.
of
So
Genesis,
it counts.
yeah. I mean, it doesn't really talk about when.
But angels, I think, were already mentioned at the beginning, weren't they? When does Lucifer fall?
Well, because the serpent in Genesis isn't
Yeah, it
the
is.
devil. It's
Yes, it is.
It is, but
assumed it is
he's
devils.
not mentioned until he
Yeah.
creates because God created animals before he created humans.
Correct.
Yeah,
I know,
And so
but I'm just wondering. So, like, which one?
I don't know. I don't know for sure. I don't know when it says. It does say like God created the heavens and the earth. I don't know if angels are a part of that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I always wonder, like, are they just already there?
I don't know.
You know, like when you like scratch yourself and a little bit of skin falls off.
Yeah.
That's why I kind of think what happened to angels.
Oh, okay.
God scratched.
What about
God scratched himself and just. You can't ungod the God particles.
That's true.
And
And
now
so
you-
they're just like smaller.
Yeah.
What about like when you
Tinier
scratch yourself
gods.
and there's like a little bit of white left over?
That's
you think
the
there's
same
some
thing.
angels
It's
just
just
I'm
like
white.
stuck to
I'm
him?
white all over.
Oh, you got it.
I'm a
Guys,
white.
fucking moisturize. Jesus Christ.
I'm talking about being white, little Caucasian whitey. All right, what are you saying?
Yeah. So like
your
sometimes you
skin,
scratch
yeah,
and then
your
like there's a
skin.
little bit of
I
white
don't have
left
that,
over.
but I've got that on like calluses.
I
so
mean
yeah.
like yeah exactly. So
Yeah.
it like it's white but then it like stays
Yeah,
on there a little bit.
Ezekiel is stuck to his index finger.
Exactly. Like Gabriel was stuck to his palm for a long time before he finally fell off. It's like birds falling out of a tree.
Do you guys want to bring back really like omany names? Like Ezekiel and like
Gabriel.
Malachi. Gabriel's not because Gabe is Gabe. You think some threatening dude is named Gabe? I knew one Gabe and he had a chin the size of a cantaloupe. I don't know. He had a really
Gabes.
weak chin, but no, Gabe ain't gonna.
Yeah, you
do
ever like
shit.
meet someone?
Malachi? That's insane though.
Yeah,
That's the guy from Children of the Corn.
Yeah, yeah. But do you ever meet somebody and they like ruin a name for you?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
met
like
Connor. Oh, audience, you can't tell, but he's stepping onto a table. There's a rope hanging from this.
Oh no, Connor, no.
I was actually more referring to the name Duncan Matt.
See, you can't do that because
There's
we already made the joke.
I've met a guy named Matt Duncan before.
That's great.
cool.
He was probably really cool.
There's a lot of last name
Yeah,
Duncans
he's pretty
out
cool.
there. There's not a lot.
There are a lot of first name Matts.
Yeah, so you met somebody who's super unoriginal. Congratulations to that Catholic.
I was
Irish
actually
guy.
just researching this the other day. I don't know why, but in 1996, 0.25% of the population babies that were born were named Connor. So that means over 10,000 babies in America were named Connor in 1990.
Fun fact:
Or six.
Matt means gift from God.
Ooh, this is a good story for
Yeah.
me. But keep going.
Okay. Anyway, gift from God. And so,
enjoying this story, Matt. This is a good story.
No, I have a bit because of this.
No,
no, like straight up. Okay, here's the thing though. Like,
is my God joke.
there are so many goddamn like Matts in the world. Like, it's so annoying because every fourth white guy is named Matt. Like, I will be in any public space and I'll hear somebody go Matt, and I'll like turn around and they're like six other guys like turn around and being like, "What, me?" And then they're only talking to one guy.
You guys ever just high five in that moment?
I wish we should. We should all come together. But gift means gift from God. But I always like to say that God was just a little bit too generous from like 1990 to like 2005. Like too much.
Okay, so you're looking up Duncan name meeting, but here's what I got to say.
Oh, okay.
So I went to Catholic school for 1 year, and it was like kindergarten, and they were like, "Oh, here's like we gave everybody like a little embroidered plaque, like when you left, and it had your name and then what it meant in the Catholic world." And it was a lot of Matthew, so it was whatever Matthew, gift from God, Elizabeth, daughter of God, and it was all of them were like something sweet, and then they went Duncan, mighty warrior. And I was like, motherfucker. You just gave that guy, you gave me a weapon as a kid to be like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I see it.
This
Now
is my
you guys are all
destiny, bitch.
godly people, but I am the noble crusader. And it was wild. So then what happened was later I went to like Protestant zone, and they again gave me another sort of name meaning. And apparently the Catholics, either the Catholics or the kindergarten teacher tried to like dumb it down because they were like, yeah, it's mighty warrior. And then apparently no, it means it got better because then it turned into dark warrior. And I was like, okay, homeboy's Dark Knight right here.
yeah.
Get excited. And then even farther, the latest ones I found, the most purified one is dark-skinned warrior. Not referring to the complexion of the skin, but they used to lie in the riverbed covered in mud, ready to strike. And I was like, that's the most Irish, like some Anglo dude walked in and was like, fuck those Duncan guys. Hanging out in the bog, stabbing our horses.
I like thinking that every phase of your life, you're going to learn more and more about the meaning of your name until you like reach the peak level, which is just like
Some gremlin.
Duncans fucking break out their backbone and use it as a weapon and
Yeah.
club. Like that's gonna be like you when you like go through menopause.
Nah, if anything, I steal people's shins and then I glue them to the front of my own shins.
Oh my god.
So you can tell how strong a Duncan is by how wide.
How many shins he has? Connor, do you know what your name means?
I just
Bitch.
looked it up on
It
Urban
means
Dictionary.
lover of wolves or lover of hounds.
Cool.
Not a big wolf or hound boy. If you look it
Not
up
a
on
furry?
Urban Dictionary, you get this. Connors are perfect. They have
Connor
brown
wrote that.
blonde hair.
Connor
And
was
dreamy
editing this
brown-
before, like-
guys. If you pay attention, it's not describing me.
You said blue eyes, brown and blonde eyes.
Brown blonde hair. That's as far
That's
as it
everybody.
goes. And then dreamy brown eyes you can get lost in. Their smile makes your day, and you can't help but smile alongside them. As stated earlier, I don't laugh a whole lot, so I'm not constantly
You're
smiling.
laughing right now and smiling.
Fuck off. The listeners don't know that. Fuck off. Yeah, anyway.
All right, yeah. This
that's what my
this
name
was
is.
written by
No, what does
Elizabeth from Jones Middle School.
Daughter of God.
Daughter of God, because she just had her boyfriend for 2 days, and his name is Connor, and she's obsessed.
dreamy,
So-
brown-eyed. No, Matt, what does my name mean?
I literally
You just
screamed
said
it at you.
lover
What'd
of
you-
wolves.
Lover
You're a furry.
of wolves.
Oh, I'm fucking.
You're
not
a
paying
furry,
attention.
yeah.
No, I think I just made the transition to preferring cats.
Okay.
I've always been a dog guy because I'm like, high energy and I like to run around and play with animals. But I've lately just been like really respecting cats.
Oh.
Well, yeah. Lately,
Kind of
yeah.
the same.
No, I've
That's
just
great,
like,
Connor. I'm very happy for you.
no, because
Cool.
my whole life I was like, cats are fucking like, they're not fun. They're never happy. But I kind of like that because they're just, you never know what they're thinking, and they just fuck with shit, and like that's their fun. They just fuck with shit. They'll knock shit over. I think that's awesome. I love that in a pet.
You're describing like the same sort of sensation of a person who's like never left their hometown and is kind of like a dick to
The
other
city's
cultures,
cool.
and then goes somewhere else and discovers that other people are all the same. You're like that. You're like American History X, but with Connor. And it's not about race,
It's about
cats,
pet type.
species. All right, let's see if I got a joke.
Oh, I did find one about Jesus.
Oh, no.
Not a lot of context again, but it says, how old was Jesus? 30 something?
35. Okay.
It says,
question.
how old was Jesus? 30 something? Jeez, that's pretty old considering the time period. It was his time. As if he died of natural causes.
I mean, it was pretty natural. He talked a lot of
yeah.
stuff and people got mad.
Yeah.
That's true.
But
He was also
for real, like that's everyone. I mean, like obviously it's sad that he died and he shouldn't have died the way he died.
Actually,
But-
it was pretty
was like-
planned out.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
He knew it was
Okay,
happening.
yeah. Well, okay, but
He's also
on
33.
a political standpoint,
He's 33?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was 35.
That's pretty old.
Dude, I'm like slightly off with my numbers. 5,200.
You said 40. What
He
is
said
5,000?
40. He said 40. I knew it was a lot. Like 40 people. Yeah, it's not that. Whatever.
no, but there's something
The
significant about
40
the number.
days. The 40
No,
days and
in that
nights.
story, there's something significant
40
about the number.
people
40.
didn't know that many numbers back then. They kind of just
I just remembered I had another Jesus joke.
good.
Okay.
All right. So theoretically, if Jesus is omnipresent,
Okay.
omnipotent, like
Yes.
all-knowing,
Love it.
that means he knows everything from like the future and on all the way to the past.
Right.
So like I wish that in the Bible they just like Jesus just like messed with people and like he'd just be like, take my body, this Cinnabon, and then or take
Oh,
take-
I see what you're saying.
just like made Cinnabons
Yeah,
in the
but then-
middle of like I don't know
but
80
from
20.
a marketing standpoint
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
religion, no, that wouldn't have gotten any traction. People
Well-
would have been like, "What the fuck?"
Well,
They would if that's what happened.
Hold on. On the one hand, he's got to balance that line because yes, he was playing the Messiah game, but there's a fine line between Messiah and witch. So if he was like, hey, I did a miracle where I took this bread and fish, something that you eat every day, and made more of it, enough to feed everybody, that's a miracle. If he was like, and made something you've never seen that's now hot in his hands for some reason, he's not a witch. And I never would have taken off.
All right. Also, think about it. Jesus' feet probably hurt like the dickens sometimes. You think he would? You think he would have just like conjured up some Nike sneaks?
No, he was Jesus. He's like,
Well, maybe he did. Maybe he did do exactly what you're saying. Like, the whole, like in the Old Testament, it says like don't eat pork, for instance. Maybe that's everyone was like, oh, there's really not a whole lot of reason to do that, but God said don't do it, so we won't do it. But maybe in like 1,000 years, the pigs will fucking rise, and they'll be like. And then they'll make the laws, and they'll be like, any human caught eating pork shall perish.
wait, you're saying
under
that Jesus,
law.
like they warned us?
I'm saying, yeah,
so then,
maybe
like,
Jesus is warning us. Like, hey, don't develop an appetite for pork because one day
Wrong,
in a
because
couple
if you
thousand
eat
years.
pork, then you keep them down.
See, yeah, but like we don't know. Maybe something will happen.
Nah, you didn't. The whole kosher,
God's
the whole
plans.
kosher rule is because you got sick because you couldn't cook it right.
Well, I mean, I don't know much about the Jewish faith. But
Well, okay, no, just okay. So I'm bouncing back and forth from like a theist like look at things and a purely historic scientific. When it comes to historic scientific, the whole kosher thing was like they were like, "Hey, God says don't eat the pork," and Johnny just ate the pork, and now he's sick.
now he's fucking dead.
So like by math, it was like, okay,
Maybe
it's
d-
pretty good. It makes sense.
don't eat
You know,
the pork.
CPCTC, don't eat the pork. But yeah.
As you can see, all of us come from pretty conservative backgrounds, but this is pretty much all of our Jesus jokes.
I don't have any Jesus jokes. I was lying.
I've got some stuff about religion.
I want to move
Not
on
Jesus
to story jokes because I want to hear like weird ass stories that has like happened to you guys because
Let me look.
Duncan, knowing your life and what you do with your time sometimes, I'm sure that there are some weird things that happen to you.
Yeah. All right. I got all of these are. I can't.
All right, one of my first injuries that I really remember. I was like really small as a kid, and I ate cereal a lot, like all the time.
Do
Actually,
you think that's why
no,
you were so small?
no, I ate cereal all the time. Actually, to be fair, I ate just a lot of things in bowls. Like I eat like piles and piles of chips. I don't know how I didn't have diabetes, but
Do you like chicken rings and bowls?
nah. But I come home. Here's my thing. I would come home from elementary school. I would come home from elementary school, and I would like really quick come in, turn on the TV. This was the DVR stage. Pause it. Bam. Cartoon Network. Take it off of Jerry Springer. Put it on to Cartoon Network. Pause. Done. Run up. Get the dog out. Let the dog out. Bam. All that shit. And then pour bowl of like pretzels, then Ruffles, then Goldfish.
Oh, yeah.
Just insane amount of junk
There's a
food.
name for that. It's called like a mix Mary something.
Trail
like,
mix?
No. There's like a name for like mixing, kind of like a suicide when you get all the sodas. There's a name for it when you do that with chips. I forget. It's something like Miss Mary or
All
something
right.
like
well,
that.
I used to do that a lot.
That
So I
sounds
would
like
run down
an
and I'd be
alcoholic
watching TV. Point is,
It might
for
be.
some reason, as the dude who ate the most amount of cereal or bowls and the shortest person in the house, the bowls were on the tallest shelf. And so I would get up, I would jump up really fast onto the counter and then get my bowl and then jump back down. And I started making like an acrobat about it. Like I started like jump up, no hands.
Parkour shit.
Yeah, and stuff like that. So one time I like fucking, what I did was I had the bowl and I was like, fucking Tony Hawk, and I like 360 off, and it just so happened that I hooked the bottom of my shorts onto like the brass like drawer,
The
drawer handle of
yeah.
the thing beneath me, and I was short enough but heavy enough that I then hooked it, bent it closed, so now I couldn't undo it. Like I bent the metal so much that it was then now trapped.
Were your feet touching the ground?
No, and I was upside down. Oh no! So I totally flipped, and then I was just sitting there. I was like, "This is how I fucking die. This is how I die. They're gonna find me." I was alone. I was like, "They're gonna find me in an hour and a half."
Oh my god! That's
All the
so
blood
funny.
in my head, and it happened to me all the time. I went to I used to do this thing where I would get in an inflatable, like a inner tube, and you would spin like your torso, your feet underwater, and you would start to churn so fast that you could really get some rotations.
Yeah.
And eventually, I went way too fast that I flipped, and then I flipped upside down in an inner tube as like a 5-year-old. And I was stuck in the inner tube, so now I am face down, legs up, no way of getting out.
And I was just like, this is also how I die.
That's pretty good.
Somebody jumped in and got me.
That reminds me of when I was a kid, like similar situation to your first story. My mom had some guys that were redoing our floor in our kitchen, so they were putting tile down, and the way they did it was they put 8 tiles down. They put 1 tile for each leg of the kitchen table, and then 1 tile for each of the 4 chairs at the kitchen table. So, and then like a couple like stepping stone style tiles so you could get there. So my mom comes home with like McDonald's or something, and we all sit at the kitchen table, and my mom's like, now everybody be careful because like there's like sticky floor, sticky stuff, because that's what they're putting the tiles on, so they stick down. So she's like, so don't move your chair, don't step on it, whatever. Immediately in my chair, I fall off my chair and land in the sticky stuff, and my head hits the side and it's stuck. Like I can't get it up. So they try to help me. They can't do it. I'm screaming, crying. They had to end up like cutting my hair on that side. But the reason this story is funny is because it took them like 10 minutes to stop laughing and to start helping me.
Oh, no.
There's videos of it. They were like, this is going on America's Funniest Home Videos. And
Did it?
no.
Dude, I wanted to be on AFV so bad.
Oh my god.
Before the real internet.
I was always so upset because
I
the ones that
describe it to
won,
people.
I was always like, that wasn't the funniest one.
Yeah.
Do you think they were fixed?
Yeah.
They were totally fixed.
What do you mean? What do you mean fixed?
Like I don't know.
Like they definitely like picked the top 3.
Yeah, like, but they were never the funniest.
No. I feel like the funniest ones were always the ones that never really should win because it's the same. Like, haha,
Yeah.
dude got hit the balls. Like whatever.
And then like YouTube came out and they just made like thousands of videos of people getting hit in the balls.
That
and then
show is
AFB,
still
like,
that
didn't-
show is still on.
What?
I know.
Yeah,
I don't
no,
know how.
No way.
It's, yeah.
What's his face?
Bergeron? Tom
Carlton
Bergeron?
from Fresh Prince of Bel
yeah.
Air
I thought
is
he
the
did,
host now.
No way. I thought
Yeah.
he did Who Wants to Be a Millionaire or something like that.
You might too. I mean, like, how long does it take to film one of those
That's
things?
fair. Yeah. Keegan-Michael Key did Animals Funniest Home Videos.
Does it? What are you gonna do? Okay, all I'm gonna say is, side note, fully tangent. Do you remember Singular, the phone company? So back in the day, there was AT&T, which was it had a different logo, and then there was Singular, which was Singular, raising the bar. So AT&T,
Yeah, I do remember.
AT&T's old thing used to be like a dude, like it was a dude, like it was an X with a circle on top of it. That's,
Oh,
it used
yeah,
to be
I
that.
remember that.
And then Singular, and they merged. So then now it's the X wrapping around the ball of the guy, or it's the bars.
Oh.
That's how that symbol comes in.
No way.
So Singular, I just remember that they had an ad that had one of the AFV videos where a kid like throws a baseball bat through a window, and it was that annoying ass song that was a.
Yeah.
That has just brought back a primal memory for me.
Oh my! I completely.
We got off track.
I completely. I forgot about that. Like.
There's certain songs like pop
Dreamt
at that
about
one,
that.
and then that
Free
Foster
Credit
the-
Report.
Oh,
I thought
but
that's
which
very good.
one? No, I was gonna say like
Okay,
the
that's
Foster the
fine.
People song that was like everywhere. The
That's a little more recent.
Yeah,
2014.
another one more recently. Do you remember when like Internet Explorer tried to like reboot and they had all
Edge.
those it was like the oh fuck I forget. Anyway, but anytime it was like popular on the radio at the exact same time. I don't even remember what song it is. It's like and I don't remember.
Describe it.
It's like
Can you sing that melody? Can you hum it?
I thought I could, and then I started trying to, and I was like, no, I don't know what it is.
No.
All right. I got all these jokes I keep reading. I'm like,
Oh, it was Too Close by.
too close to
Oh,
love you.
yeah.
Yeah, we got it.
Exactly, and then every time I would hear it on the radio, the Internet Explorer logo was like in my brain.
Yeah, I remember that. Oh, this isn't really a story, but it's something that happened.
That's a story.
Fuck off. We were walking, me and my dad, and he looks up at the sky, and it was like sunset around that time of day, and he looks up at the sky and he goes, "Oh my God!" And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Look at that cloud," and I didn't see any clouds. I was like, "What cloud?" And he's like, "That one. It's like a perfect circle," and it was the moon. And I was like, I think that's the moon. And he refused to admit that it was the moon. Even after it was like clearly the moon. He was like, that's a cloud. And he was like, think about it. If it's sunset, the sun's over there, that cloud is directly overhead. If it were the moon, it would only be a half moon, but it's a perfect circle.
That's not how the moon works.
I know. So I was like,
Sounds like an idiot.
Homeboy doesn't know that the moon and the sun are not on the same plane.
Same axis.
Well,
That's
I
how
mean-
eclipse happens. No, it's not about the axis. It's about the level of plane. So
no, it doesn't. Well, both. I mean,
the
like
solar system.
also, the moon has literally no relation to the sun.
Yeah.
well, the moon is so close to the Earth in relation to the sun, the distance from the Earth to the sun, that anytime you see the moon and like the shape of the moon or the shape of the shadow on the moon,
It's the shadow of the earth. yeah.
exactly.
That's
They're
how that works.
more or less.
Yeah. Not more or less exactly.
That's exactly how the moon works.
No, what I'm gonna say.
No.
Yeah.
Well, because they are separated by some distance, so there's slight variation, but you'd never be able to tell.
But it's still that shadow. That's
Yeah.
the only thing that's causing this shape.
yeah, exactly.
So what I want to say is that for planets out there, the whole solar system is on one plane more or less. It's uncommon, but it is. The moon, and our moon specifically, is on a different plane of rotation. That's how you get partial eclipses, because otherwise you'd have eclipse
Oh,
every 2 weeks.
I didn't know that.
But they only have eclipse seasons. That's why twice a
Yeah.
year you can get one lunar then one solar, because that is when this
They line up a
lines
little
up. Yeah,
That makes sense.
so that's it. That's also why people are like, why am I seeing the moon at the day? Because certain times of the year you will see the moon in the day and at night, and then certain times of the year you don't see it at all.
I remember my freshman year. It was the first day of college, like classes had started, and there's supposed to be a solar eclipse that day, and I was so excited. I had friends that were like skipping class to go to Kentucky because that's where it was going to be like
Oh,
a
yeah.
full
Perfect.
solar
Yeah.
eclipse.
There's a Waffle House there.
I'm sure.
There was. That was the
In
point.
Kentucky?
There's a picture of the Waffle House. There was a map of every Waffle House where you could see the perfect eclipse. It's creepy.
Okay, that's actually a pretty good marketing scheme.
Yeah.
I like that. But no, all my friends were like, "Yeah, we're gonna skip class and go to Kentucky," and I didn't know what college was, so I was like, "No, I feel like I should go to the first day of classes." And then I went to the first day of classes, and of course they were all like, just reading the syllabus, and I was so upset because in between classes, that's when the eclipse was happening, and my glasses broke. So I could only use one lens, and I was looking at it, and it was so underwhelming, like, because it was still so bright. You know what I mean?
I guess.
Because it was also cloudy, so I couldn't see.
It was fine. All right.
No, we
was
were
cloudy.
were all
also
there.
saw it, yeah.
One,
It
two.
was cloudy.
No, it was
wasn't.
not.
Are you kidding?
And also, it
I
was not
couldn't
the
see
first
it.
day of school. I don't want to roast you online, but it
Well, it was the
definitely wasn't.
second?
No,
No.
it was the second semester.
What?
Yeah. Oh no, I
No,
lied.
no.
Sorry, it was first semester
It was
because they
first
gave them
semester.
out at BGR. They gave them
Yeah.
things. Point is, it was like the second week.
Oh.
Either
well,
way, not the
whatever.
point. Not the point. But I remember the same thing because I was walking to class and my friend was also walking to class, and I got the glasses. He did not, so I went one eye, and instead of trading them back and forth, we ripped them in half and we did a little bit of Goku,
literally what me and
Goku
my
shit,
friend
and we just closed our eyes and did that. But the thing I was gonna say is, I looked at it for so long, and I was like, "You're right. Now I gotta go to class. I've experienced it." I went to class, and I was like, the teacher were like, "Did you go see it?" And she was like, "No." And I was like, "I'll give you my glasses. You can literally walk outside right now and go see it." No, it's okay. I'm like, "It's not gonna happen for 67 years.
Yeah.
Why don't you want to see it?"
I honestly thought that the coolest part about it was after you walked, like when it was happening, it was still bright, but it was dim. It was like, which was just like eerie.
See, but that's why. Okay, that's probably why I thought it was a little more cloudy than it was, because it was cloudy.
No,
it wasn't.
no, it
It wasn't
wasn't.
overcast.
It was a clear day.
I remember clouds. I remember.
Maybe you were
looking
just
up.
sad.
Maybe you weren't looking at the sun. Maybe you were looking at a
Maybe
big
you were
cloud.
looking at
Maybe it was a
Maybe
big
you're looking at
cloud.
the moon.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway,
happened.
my story. One time when I was a child, I was at my grandmother's house, and I was trying to wake up. And I remember I woke up, and I was like, "Oh,
You were
shit."
trying to wake up.
Yeah, I was like,
Was that
waking
coming
up.
out of a drug trip? You're really trying to.
Okay.
Oh,
was-
grandma, there's my grandma.
I was like 6 years old. I couldn't move. No, I was 6 years old. I'm laying in bed, and I realized that I wet my pants.
Classic.
I know, classic. At my grandma's house, and I was like, shit, like, my grandma is going to kill me. And so my next thought was, I'm going to stay in bed until it dries. That was my approach to
Bold.
conning my grandma. Because I don't know, I was 5, 6 years old, and I was like, this is going to work. This is going to be brilliant. So I lay in bed for forever, and then my grandma comes in, and she's like, oh, Matt, like, you're awake. And I'm like, yeah, I am.
And then she whispers in your ear, I pissed in your bed.
No, but then I forget the excuse that I gave, but she eventually leaves, and then I'm 6 years old, so I get tired of laying in this bed, so I'm gonna face it, and then literally as I get up, I get up and I go to clean it, and then I realize that I didn't pee the bed. I had shit myself.
Oh, I thought you were going to say wet dream.
No.
Oh, my God.
It was,
you know, like when you confuse the smell of pee and poop.
I
and the
couldn't smell
sensation
anything.
of
No,
pee
it was
poop.
literally, and I thought it was wet. It was wet because it was diarrhea. So there's literally diarrhea
my
all
God.
over the place. I was 6 years old. It was the worst thing ever. I just
She
left.
probably just wanted to throw you out at that
You
point.
Probably.
didn't notice, like, in your sleep?
No, I woke
See,
up
they
and that's
say
how it
you
was.
die. If you're drunk.
You died. That's what happened. You died. Your bowels released
And then
because
just-
you didn't go to. You can get the White
Yeah.
Castle.
Yeah,
you gotta
that's
eat the
what
White
happened to my
Castle
grandma.
before
Yeah.
So
bed.
you gotta eat the White Castle in order for it to be good.
Yeah, no, my grandma faked her death and then waited till we all left. She's still alive, but she shit the bed and she's embarrassed, so she should probably die. That's like, you know, they say like don't lay on your back if you're drunk because you might throw up and choke on your own puke.
Or your tongue.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Both.
Okay.
You can choke on your tongue.
Either way,
You don't want to be face down in your own puke. Both. You just don't want.
You want to be on your side.
be on your side. You backpack.
Yeah.
PSA, lay on your side if you're drunk.
I don't know. I've always because I sleep on my back, so I'm always
Probably snore like a banshee.
no, I don't snore.
How do you know?
literally don't know that.
If you
I
sleep
have
on
a
your
girlfriend.
yeah, she probably hates you.
No,
She probably snores
because I've
too.
asked her several times. Like,
probably
hey, do I
like she's
snore?
lying to
If
you.
you snore on
No,
your back,
because
you
she's
probably-
lying to you.
my
probably snore a
brother
little bit.
snores like a fucking jackhammer, and it's to the point where like we just went. Him and I were sharing a room over winter break, and I was like, I can't do this, so I slept on the floor in a different room. And so like I was really insecure about that, so I asked my girlfriend. I was like, hey, do I snore? And she's like, no, like if you do, it's like really faint and quiet, and I've never noticed.
We
And
don't
she's-
believe you.
and
It's
she was
because you're
like,
thin.
yeah, that might be it.
That is a thing, though.
I'm
Nasal
I'm pretty
strips.
skinny. Nasal
I
strips.
tried a nose strip. Have you
I
guys-
don't think the
have you
nose
ever-
strip works.
They
No,
work.
The nose strip
have you
doesn't-
ever
no, the nose
used
strip-
one?
The nose strip doesn't work if you're laying on your back, though.
I don't know. Just I was
You're
just
still
talking in
gonna-
general.
You're still gonna cut your throat.
I've
That's the
used
problem.
one. I didn't really notice a
I'm
difference.
not talking about snoring anymore. Just
okay.
like the
No, I've never had
technology of a nose strip
Does it work?
blew my mind.
Yeah.
I was always like, how does putting like a piece of paper over your nose
Yeah,
that
how's
do anything?
gluing your
I
nose
know,
open?
Doesn't it, like,
but
pull
no,
your skin
that's what it does.
forward?
It's
Which
like,
I don't think
it's
would.
like-
I don't think my skin is tight enough
No,
like to
it's,
my.
It's
Yeah.
bendy. So what it does is it wants to stay in a line.
Yeah.
And then you push it down on your nose, and then it pulls your
Oh,
nose.
But
I
I don't
see.
understand how like adhesive can deal with my sinuses. You know.
Yeah, okay, because like
No, it opens them up because
But it opens up. But it opens up my nostril, not my sinus.
Maybe you can just breathe better. I don't know.
That's
no,
what
'cause
I'm
your,
wondering.
your
That's-
sinuses like run
That's what I'm
all
wondering.
throughout your face.
But that's what I'm
So
wondering is,
it
like, can it-
probably
is
it probably does. It probably pulls up your skin just a little bit, and just that little bit of alleviated pressure probably opens them up a little bit, which is enough because they're so small.
This has been Dr. Hour with Connor, and he's a doctor.
Hey, look, I just know a lot about sinuses
I
because
don't know shit about the moon though.
I know I don't. It's a fucking cloudy day. I didn't see the moon.
Doesn't know shit about the moon. Every time I see the moon now, I'm gonna be like, "Hey, Connor, what the fuck is that?
That's a fucking
fuck that
perfectly
cloud?
spherical
What the fuck
cloud
that
right
cloud?
there.
What's that cloud, Connor?"
Hey, I've done some dumb stuff because like back in the day, I was like, why does it never rain in winter? Like as a kid.
My buddy told me that it's never windy at night.
That's not true.
I know, but he told me that. And this is like, he's like an honors college motherfucker. So I was like, okay, it's not windy at night. I
That's
just took it as fact. And then like,
super not
and then
true.
it wasn't windy for during the night for like a month, and every night.
How
when I was
windy
walking
is it
home-
during the day? Not that windy in general.
Well,
Where'd the wind
I
go?
had just like noticed, and like just based on my own anecdotal evidence, I was like, it's never windy at night, but it is during the day.
Yeah, living
and then
on- yeah.
one day it was windy during the night, and I was like, this is some fucked up anomaly. and then I was like, I have to question this guy's like integrity, or his credibility. So I looked it up. I was like, is it windy during the night? And I couldn't find any results because
no one's
nobody's
that dumb.
stupid enough to ask that question.
No, it's of course no. As a guy who lives right off the lake now, I can tell you, gale force
Yeah.
winds are a real thing, and they suck.
Isn't Chicago not called the Windy City because it's windy?
No, it's because of it's supposed to be corruption. I don't remember the old anecdote for
like
it.
Chicago Wall Street.
Yeah, it's supposed to be corruption,
I mean, it's still hella windy and cold.
It is hella windy.
but it has something to do with like the way that like talking like they're a bunch of corrupt politicians or something like that.
They all have very breathy
But it also
voices.
is super windy.
City.
Yeah,
It's how the Chicago Wall Street people talk.
yeah. It's
is
actually
there
pretty,
a Wall Street of Chicago?
I don't know. Maybe there's a stock exchange. Maybe I think I don't know. All I'm gonna say about the winds though is that it's so insane the difference between walking on a north-south street and then an east-west street. You walk down
really?
a north-south street and you're like, no, it's pretty windy today, and then you turn into an east-west street and you can't enter the alleyway because you're being shoved by so much force. It's
funny.
insane.
Oh, because you live
'Cause-
on the north side.
Well, it's important because just the lake. If you
Well,
were
yeah,
if
but
you were
if you're on,
parallel with the
like-
lake,
Right.
if you're on a street that ends at the lake, you'll just get blasted. But if you're walking north south, it's okay because there's buildings. It's
Right.
weird.
That's interesting. Yeah, like we have a building here where the math building where
It's a land bridge, mind you.
yeah, like
It
it's
is a bridge,
It's
legally.
basically you can walk under it, and the only way
Legally
you
not
can
a building.
it's a structure, and
a
the
land
only
bridge.
way
It's
you
a
can
bridge.
get
It's a land bridge.
into it
It's a
is
bridge.
by entering under the bridge. It's a
It's a land
imagine
bridge.
a building on stilts.
literally-
That's what it is, and you can only enter it from underneath it, and it's the windiest thing ever. Like if it's cold out, I will go around it because it gets so windy in there. Like I'll start crying because I'm emotional and a natural anatomical reaction to being cold. Anyway, we're coming up on an hour, so I think might as well wrap it up in the good old traditional fashion that we always wrap up this podcast.
Yep.
I'm gonna try to
making
eat
up a
this
tradition.
mic.
You have been listening to Find the Humor. I'm Matt.
I'm Connor.
I'm Duncan. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
No problem. And play that funky music, DJ.
This has been Find the Humor with Matt Miner and Connor O'Leary.